Hello, bench warmers, and welcome to another 2020 NFL prediction. NFC West edition. We are going first place with the San Francisco 49ers. And this is my second time making the entire NFC West videos. Because, for one, a couple things changed, and two, I've had a bit of a change in heart. My original, I'll tell you this, was Cardinals in second place and Seahawks in third place, but it was all within a game. I've changed it around a bit because I think I'm overhyping the Cardinals, but I'll get into that in the Cardinals video. For now, San Francisco 49ers. The reason I changed this one so much is because news came out about Deebo Samuel and their, I don't remember his name, but their kick returner, Deebo Samuel having a leg injury and their kick returner having a wrist injury. They're thinking he'll be sidelined for 2 months. Now, sidelined for 2 months does not mean it will take him 2 months to recover from now. At least that's how I'm taking it. It'll mean he's not going to be in there for 2 months. Now, he's not just a kick returner. He also is a wide receiver for them. And maybe this doesn't do much anyway. Because maybe they have another guy. Maybe Brandon Ayuk starts returns for them and they do really well. But I gave them only one extra loss because of this in the beginning. I kind of changed a few things around because they're not going to have Deebo or their kick returner for the beginning of the season. I also missed a few things in my video, so I have to redo that. Anyway, let me go over how I do this. I gave a brief description of what's going on with the team, what I think of how they handled the offseason. I kind of just did that already, and I'll do that a little bit more. And then I'm going to go 4 weeks at a time, and I'm going to discuss why I picked what I pick in a brief description. So, let's keep going with my 49ers description. I think they did an excellent job in the offseason, only trading away DeForest Buckner for a first-round pick and replacing him with that first-round pick. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure they got Trent Williams. So that offensive line got even better. And they got Brandon Ayuk in the draft. Him and Deebo Samuel are going to be really good. But I don't think rookies are going to make that big of an impact this year. Because it is June 19th as of my recording for this. And there have been 0 practices. And I don't think there's going to be until late July or August. And that's not enough time for rookies to really get into it. In my opinion, I think the rookies are going to get going more halfway through the season, if they do at all. So, I think DeForest Buckner's going to have a bit more of an impact loss than they thought, because their rookies aren't going to, the rookie they replaced him with isn't going to be able to get going as much as they thought or hoped. And without their number one wide receiver to start the season, I don't know how long he'll be out. I think it was going to be maybe 4 weeks. It might be less than that because it's hard to predict that type of stuff. But there were a few things I switched around here. So, with that being said, let's get going with the first 4 weeks. Now, originally, I had them winning 7 in a row. I had them going all the way down here and the Seahawks being their first loss, but I changed that because their run game isn't going to change. And that could very well win them all of those games still. Because, as a Packer fan, I know better than anyone how good their run game is. But without a passing threat, teams with defenses and teams that are smart enough to change your scheme would be able to defend that. Now, not to say they don't have a passing threat because they still have George Kittle, but it's like they're going to have rookies and George Kittle to pass to. They're going to want to run the ball a lot more. So I think the Cardinals, I'm really high on the Cardinals. I was even higher on them, but I've kind of come down to earth. I got my hype out in that trial video. But I think the Cardinals, I did have the Cardinals splitting with the 49ers anyway, because the Cardinals were in those games, both of those games, without this roster, and they nailed the offseason even more because they had more opportunity to nail the offseason. And then they're going to beat the Jets and the Giants. The Jets are going to be a bottom feeder again. Sorry, Jets fans, it's just they didn't do anything to impress me. This is going to be Adam Gase's last year as a head coach for the Jets and possibly for the league. The Giants didn't do enough to put themselves over that edge. They might compete for the division with that offense, but that defense does not impress me. And the Eagles, I was really impressed with the Eagles last year with all those injuries and how they overcame that, and they found some diamonds in the roughs, like Scott, something Scott. I can't remember his name, but they found some running game and wide receiver diamonds in the roughs, and they might be using Jalen Hurts as a Taysom Hill type, and that could work with him. I think he might have that type of build to him. So instead of starting 7-0, similar to last season, you're gonna go start 2-2. People might be thinking Super Bowl hangover. Don't worry. So, like I said, don't worry. You're going to beat the Dolphins. Dolphins did a lot, not even close to enough to beat the 49ers. And you might be getting Debo back, but even if you don't have Debo back, you're going to beat the Dolphins. The Rams could take this one. I am very low on the Rams this year. And I think the Rams could split with everybody in the division. Because they do have a good roster on paper, but I think they've got a lot of head cases, and I think it's spending all that money is kind of starting to blow up in their face, and they kind of have their hands tied. I just think the 49ers, just because they have a better locker room, I do think they have overall better talent, so I think the 49ers are going to take this, and it's in San Francisco. And I'm going to have them beat the Patriots. Patriots, I think, are going to be better than what everyone else thinks, but not better than the 49ers. But then I'm going to have the Seahawks be winning in Seattle. They really should have won in Seattle last year, too. They should have swept the 49ers. They almost did. But I think the Seahawks, they want this one. That's a division game, going to play it hard. And I was a little low on the Seahawks, and I've changed my tune on that a bit. I have them going second in the division now. I had them going third, but my original standings were 12-4 for the 49ers, 11-5 for the Cardinals, 10-6 for the Seahawks, and 7-9 for the Rams. That was my original prediction, but I'm changing it. So now, this was always in my plan, but I actually had the Seahawks once again being the 49ers' first loss. I think by now, the 49ers, they're going to have Deebo Samuel back, especially by now. But I think the Seahawks, they're just going to have, I don't know. I just got a feeling the Seahawks are going to take it. Next four. Now, I don't even have to comment on the Packers. You all know why until the Packers can actually compete with them, I can't, in my right mind, pick them. But then the Saints. 49ers, they beat the Saints last year in a hell of a game. That was a great game to watch. And I think the 49ers here, I think the Saints are going to be on a run. They're on a warpath, basically. They have Emmanuel Sanders next to Michael Thomas now. So I just think it's going to be, this one's a toss-up. It's really hard to determine because they're both really good teams. But I'm going to pick the Saints this time. And then they're going to sweep the Rams. The Rams could split. I definitely think they could. But I don't think they will. I do not trust the Rams this year. I'll kind of rant about them in their video. And then I'm going to have them lose to the Bills. Bit of a shocker to some people. I'm high on the Bills. I'm high on Josh Allen. He now has Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, and I think that offense, it was already it was okay last year. And I think with Stephon Diggs, it's going to be even better. And their defense is really, really good. I think the Bills had the number 2 defense last year. It could be number 1 this year. Even if it stays at number 2, they're going to take that division, and I think they're going to give the 49ers a bit of a hard time, even though it's Monday night in San Francisco. Next 4. Did I have them? I think I do. And their final 4, they're going to sweep, basically. They're going to run the table a little bit here. Beating the Redskins for obvious reasons. Redskins did okay this offseason, but they didn't do enough to get over that hump. They're still probably going to be bottom feeders. And they're going to beat the Cowboys. They're going to have a high-powered offense, but not a great defense. They're going to have an okay defense. It's not going to be enough to stop the 49ers at full power now, assuming injuries don't happen, which they probably will. Then they're going to beat the Cardinals. I originally had the Cardinals losing in week 1, but winning week 16. But because of Deebo Samuel being out and their kick returner being out, and because of how good I think that Cardinals offense and I think the defense is going to be all right, pretty good too, I just think they're going to take it week 1 instead, and I cannot have the Cardinals sweeping the 49ers. I just don't see that happening. But then they're going to beat the Seahawks. Same kind of reason. I just don't see them getting swept, even though they almost did last year. It just kind of shows it's hard to sweep a team in the division. I'm even kind of wondering about them sweeping the Rams, and I'm not high on the Rams at all, but because it's a divisional game, it's going to be hard. Now, 11-5 is not the 13-3 that they had last year, so there is a little bit of a hangover, but they get over it pretty quickly. Now, I think their ceiling could be 14-2, maybe 13-3 again, just splitting there. And their floor, I think their floor is 9-7, but they're likely going 11-5. That just makes sense to me. Which one am I missing? This one. So that is my 49ers prediction. And I'm kind of surprised I have them only winning 11 games. I really thought they'd win more, and they very well could. But given the schedule, given what happened with the injuries, and it's hard to determine any possible future injuries. But with these taken into consideration, I changed my prediction, and 11-5, 12-4, very possible. 49ers not really having a hangover, because 11-5 is still a very respectable record. So let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and you would have known that even if whatever. But I'll see you in the next video where we go over the Seattle Seahawks.